The Elevated Matrix by Anthony Owen and BAMagic is a brand new coin matrix routine with a really crazy new method. It allows you to do a matrix without even touching the cards to the table. You hold the cards above any flat surface and the coins visually teleport across corners. Although this is unlike any other matrix routine on the market, there are some very important things that you will need to know about this product before you choose to purchase it. There are quite a few things about the gimmick and its practicality, angles, and more that you will find very important and interesting. So is this right for you? Today, we're going to find out. Watch close. We have 2 cards and 4 coins. We're going to cover each corner like this so you miss the moment that they teleport across. Now watch closely. Do not take your eyes off the coins or cards or you'll miss it again. Just like that. Now you know what's better than having coins teleport across 2 times? That's right. 3 times. Yeah, but all magic tricks must have a big finish. That's the #1 rule in magic. So for a big finish, what if I told you that I could get this coin to teleport across on top of these 3 quarters with the cards covering it? I know you probably wouldn't believe me, but it's about to happen. Ready? Countdown 3, 2, 1. With just a flick, 4 quarters. Oh wait, all of them are gone, which means all of them are right over here. And that is Anthony Owen's Elevated Matrix. If you find this review helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. It really helps out so we can get to more people. And of course, hit the like. Now, what do you get? When you purchase the Elevated Matrix from BAMagic, you will get this beautiful box. It's magnetic enclosed. And inside of the box, you will receive 2 ordinary Jokers, red bicycle playing cards. They're not gimmicked. You'll also receive a gimmick inside and a kind of substance that's used to bring the gimmick in and out of play. You do not receive the coins or dice or whatever objects that you will be teleporting. You'll have to provide that yourself, which we'll get into shortly. What is the quality of the gimmick? Well, as I said, the cards aren't gimmicked. You can use any playing cards, but the gimmick itself is quite interesting. I've not seen anything quite like it, and it's made of plastic and a softer interior. It allows the routine to be done pretty much noiseless, which we'll talk about as well. And it should last you a lifetime, if I'm being honest. It's not like there's any moving parts with the gimmick. There's no elastic. There's nothing that's going to break ever. There's no magnets. But you will eventually have to get some tape or sticky substance just to reapply or change out with the gimmick to make sure that you have a way of getting in and out of the routine smoothly. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial is great. It's 25 minutes long, which gets the job done perfectly. It starts with Nick Lacapo introducing the effect, talking about what you get, how to bring the gimmick into play, and how to bring it out of play. He will then hand the video off to Anthony Owen. This video was recorded a while ago, and Anthony unfortunately has passed away since then, which is really sad. In the video, Anthony explains the 4-coin matrix. It only requires 4 coins and 2 cards. You can use any brand of playing cards, and the coins need to be quarters or smaller. So Canadian quarters or United States quarters or nickels or dimes or anything else. But anything bigger than a quarter would not fit in the gimmick. You could also use dice as well if you'd like, which could allow for some pretty cool presentations. Are there any lighting restrictions? Clothing restrictions? Nope and no. Is this a social media or a real life effect? Is it a social media or real life effect? This is a bit of both. However, as we'll discuss shortly, there are definitely more restrictions when performing this in real life. What are the angles like? What are the angles like? Well, this is the most important thing. This is what you'll want to listen in on. The audience must be looking down at the cards. They can't be looking eye level at the cards. They can't see underneath the cards or else they will see the gimmick. And when I say looking down, I don't mean they have to be looking directly over the cards like this. I just mean a general perspective. Because if I was sitting back here and a magician was performing Elevated Matrix here, I would see exactly how it works. So I would need to either be sitting really close up as it's being performed, or even better, I would be standing up. If I was standing up right here or even back here, I would not see any glimpse of the method for this effect. Now, as long as everybody is looking down at the cards, you can be performing this completely surrounded, which is great. But that is the most important thing. You have to make sure everybody is looking down at the cards. So this would be ideally performed on a lowered surface like a bar stool, as Anthony Owen does it, or at a banquet table. Not the big banquet tables, I mean the ones on the dance floor, the ones where you have to stand up around them and there's a small table and everyone can look down at the table. That's good because it's not too big of a table, so there won't be too many people spread too far out, which is great. Now, is this examinable? Well, at the start and end of the routine, everything is examinable, but you will have to ditch the gimmick. The gimmick is very small and easy to ditch, even if you have small hands. But you will have to bring it into play though, which can be a little bit knacky because you want to bring the gimmick in so it's just around the right spot and it's not too misaligned. And this is just a matter of practice. Now let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of this effect. This is not really difficult per se, however, it is quite knacky to get perfect. You will need to practice this quite a bit to get the handling down so you get the coins to smoothly teleport. If you don't practice enough, you may end up with the coin not teleporting. This is practical for bars and smaller groups where audiences can be closer up to you and looking down, as I mentioned. Is there any DIY? Well, you have to apply a material to the gimmick to make sure it comes into play properly, and that just takes about 20 seconds, and you'll probably only have to change this around every 20 to 40 performances. But other than that, no, there's no DIY. How much pocket space is required? Well, you can use any 2 cards from a deck and any 4 quarters or smaller coins. So that, and you also have to carry the small gimmick. The gimmick's not big at all. It can fit in your hand and it's easily palmable. However, you'll want to think about where you're storing it because the gimmick might want to stay in your pocket if you don't keep it with another object or anything like that. It's not magnetic though or anything. You don't have to worry about that with it interacting with other magnetic objects. There's no magnets. What I mean is you'll probably want to keep the gimmick with another object like attached or something like that. Now, does this make any noise? Depending on the surface, it can make a small amount of noise. However, in most situations, the noise is negligible, especially because there should be background noise. Or ambient noise. And even if you were doing this on a bar stool, which would be theoretically where there would be the most noise, you're performing this in a bar. There's going to be a ton of people talking. There's going to be a lot of noise. So any small amount of noise done performing this, that comes out of performing this effect will not be heard by anybody, especially because everyone's talking. Now, if you were to perform this on a bar stool in an empty bar with no one talking, no music, nothing like that, then it is quite possible that they hear the gimmick. And that shouldn't be a concern though, most of the time, because think about when you would be performing. Most of the time magicians perform, they're hired at restaurants, they're hired at banquet parties, they're hired at gigs, dance floors. There's people always talking in the back. So the noise really should not be an issue. How's the reset? The reset is instant. However, as I said, you will still want to take care of the gimmick, make sure that it is stored the right way in your pocket, so that when you're reset, when you're moving to the next table, you can get into it smoothly. Now, what is the price of this? The price is $30, 30 US dollars. And although that's a bit expensive for the type of gimmick and materials you get, when it comes to the effect, if you plan on performing this, if you like what you see, you're okay with the angle restrictions, that kind of thing, then this is absolutely worth the price. It's so visual. In fact, I think it is, in the right situations, probably the most visual 4-coin matrix. So what are the pros and cons? The pros are no pad is required. It's very visual. It can be done without the cards touching the table, which is crazy. The cards are elevated, so there's no way to do moves. This is easy to carry. The gimmick has a bit of camouflage, so even if there's a tiny flash, people shouldn't notice. The gimmick is small, and you can use borrowed items like a die or dice. You don't even have to use playing cards and coins. You can use a credit card. You could attach it to other things. This starts and ends examinable. The gimmick's pretty cool. I haven't seen something like this before. It resets instantly. and it's the way it's made prevents as much noise as possible. The cons are there still will be a small amount of noise, which should be drowned out by background noise or ambient noise, and you'll have to be careful, as I said, with your performance situations. You won't want people seeing under the cards. And it's a bit knacky and just a little bit expensive. And every maybe 20 to 40 performances, you'll have to reapply a substance. And if you don't practice, you can miss the coin, especially for the final phase where there's a kicker ending. Now, overall, I really like this effect, but it won't be for all performers, especially because it doesn't fit all performing situations. So what percent am I giving this? I'm giving this an 80%. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Comment down below what you think about this trick, and I'll see you next time.